welcome to the Trauma-Flavored Chapters. I'm Serenity, and I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so excited to connect with you today. This episode, there's just so much to talk about. There's so much going on in my brain right now. So today is a current chapters episode, and today is about how fear affects our true authenticity. This has been coming up a lot for me lately, and it's specifically with this podcast. Oh. There's just been a lot of fear that has been coming up around this podcast. And I shared a little bit about the fear coming up in the intro episode. I think that I did. But if I didn't, there's fear coming up around this podcast and episode and everything. And it is a fear of sharing. I think it's a fear of sharing myself in such a different way, but sharing my true, authentic self with you, there's just been a lot of fear coming up. So I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, I had this big download of how my fear is affecting all these other things. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit just because there is some notes. I want to stay on track, so everything makes sense. And if it doesn't, oh well. So yeah, I wanted to first share that with you because I want to truly connect with you. I want to get in the nitty-gritty of things, and that is the whole point of the podcast, is getting into the nitty-gritty and taking all the filters off so we can just deeply connect together. So that is why I'm choosing to be very vulnerable, is to connect with you today. So I want to talk about social fear and how our nervous system reacts to that. And specifically, when I think about social fear and I think about our nervous system and how that's reacting, I think about how we are like pack animals and we are pack creatures or village creatures, whatever. We're some sort of creature. How we want to be in a pack and we want to be in a group of people because when we were cavemen or whatever, we had to be because that depended on our survival. And if you were alone, that means something could eat you and you have to like fend for yourself and literally you might die. So we have this internal instinct to be in a group. So when social things happen or you get like rejected, there was like new relationships, friendships, putting yourself out there, and then your thoughts begin to like spiral. And it is your instincts reacting to, I need to be in a group. I need to be in a village because if I don't, I'm going to die. So when someone rejects you or you're doing something new and there's like a possibility of rejection or the feeling of being like pushed out of a group, your body reacts as if a predator is going to get you. And it's like, oh God, I'm going to be eaten. Oh God. And that's how I'm feeling right now. Like, oh my God. So that's not true. If we get rejected now or pushed out of a group now, nothing's really going to happen. A tiger is not going to swoop you out of the air, or a hawk is not going to come get you. I don't think, well, maybe a chihuahua could do that, but not you. Anyways, you get the point. Like, if we get socially rejected now, it doesn't depend on our survival. So I wanted to talk about the paper tiger theory. I don't know if you've heard of the paper tiger theory, but it is how, pretty much what I explained, is how nowadays when there is social or like the examples of what I said of like new relationships, friendships, or putting yourself out there, when you're going into those things and you feel that rejection, our bodies turn it into an actual threat. So now with the theory, it is taking your fears and realizing that they will not actually eat you. So in my brain, or you can do it physically on a piece of paper, is you write down those fears. And so in my brain, I write down like, oh, I'm scared of being judged. I'm scared that the podcast isn't gonna like be perceived the way I want it to, or blah 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 blah. There's like all these little internal thoughts happening. So I'm gonna write those down in my head. And in my head, I like to fold it up into like a little origami tiger. if you can do origami, go right ahead. Or another idea is drawing those, like writing those ideas down and then drawing a tiger, like as if the words were like in the middle of the tiger, if that makes sense. And you look at it and you think, and you look down, and you're like, can these things physically eat me? Can these things, can this anxiety, can whatever it is physically harm me? The answer is usually no. And if it's a situation you're putting yourself that's dangerous, that's not what I'm talking about. Trust your instincts in dangerous situations. But I'm saying like little anxieties about like you want to walk up to this person, or you've been thinking about, I'm like, I want to really be friends with this person, but I'm scared. Like, what if I get rejected? That rejection isn't going to physically eat me like a tiger. So, that is the paper tiger theory and how I would describe it. So, no, it cannot actually harm me. And it is realizing that you are not going to be eaten. It is rationalizing your fear. And that's what I've kind of been doing with this podcast. I'm like, is the podcast going to eat me? No. It am I going to be eaten? No. It is just my own brain trying to keep me safe. And so now we are going to bring it back to what the fear is blocking. The fear is blocking me from being my true authentic self with you because of like, oh, the fear of rejection. So my brain, like, yeah, sharing my, I'm like, my brain does that, what? So fear is trying to keep you comfortable and it is trying to keep you safe. That is fear's job. It is to keep you safe. But when you are trying to grow and you are trying to shift and change yourself and expand, fear is going to come in. It's going to swoop right in and it's going to be like, no, we don't want to do this. We want to stay the same and we want to be safe. So, another thoughts will come up and say, like, when you're trying to expand, like for me, it's like, well, I don't think so. It's like, that's too hard. You're not that person. Like, we can't do this. What are some other things? Like, I'm not this or that, or like only certain people can do that. Like all these spiraling thoughts will come in to like dampen it and make you smaller. So then the fear pulls back and we're like, we want to stay the same. We want to stay safe and cozy or right here in our little shell right here. So, but that's not how we grow. That's not how I have ever grown. I have never ever grown in comfortability ever. So how I like to shift these things is I listen, I'm like, okay, because I don't want to just shove it away, because if I try to ignore it, it's just going to come crawling back. So it's like listening, being like, okay, I hear you. I hear you. You're trying. Thank you so much for trying to keep me safe. I appreciate you doing your job, but I need you to take a sat. I need to take a sat right now. And shifting, and a lot of times I love like writing my big fears down in a book as well. So using the paper tiger theory and shifting those thoughts. I also love to write down all my untrue thoughts, and then on another piece of paper I will write, like, completely shift them and like do the opposite of what that thought is. That helps me rewire my fear a lot. So I wanted to connect this fear of the podcast and what I've been talking about to another thing that has currently, or has past happened, if that makes sense. My mouth is not working. So I wanted to talk about my business, and there is a big common thing that I have seen in entrepreneurs, and it is their will to push through the fear and do the business and do the entrepreneurial journey. And I started my business when I was 17. I have my own cleaning business, and come on, boss, almost said. So yeah, I have my own cleaning business, and I started it when I was 17. And there was a lot of fear in the beginning, and there was a big core value. I don't want to say value. There was a big core fear of I'm not enough. That has been a thing that I have really been challenged with most of my life. It's like, am I enough? But that fear kept coming up when I was starting my business. Is like, what was the questions I wrote down? It's like, will they like my services? Am I good enough? Why would they choose my business? And all these fears kept coming up when I was starting my business. And that really affected me for several years in business. I attracted a lot of not very good clients. I was selling my services for way, way lower than I should have been. I was overperforming to cover up that fear. I was just like, I'm gonna overperform so then that dampens like those thoughts and they'll accept me and they'll want my it was like this type of energy, like grabbing and like and like chasing after it. So I also used to think like I'm just a cleaner. I thought the bare fucking minimum of myself. I was just like, yeah, I'm I'm just a cleaner. Yeah, I did this thing and that's it. I'm like, huh? Pourquoi? Like what? Like what are you saying to yourself right now? Just dampening and this fear is just like I felt like it put like a cloud over me of just being like, be small, be afraid, like overperform so then they will like it, da 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 da. And so then I shifted and it took a couple years. I'm a fucking business owner. I started a business when I was 17 years old and I did the dang thing. I did it and I pushed through. It took several years, but I pushed through the fear and from the very start of me starting my business, I did believe that my business would take care of me. I truly believed in what I was doing, but underneath it, there was this just overlooming fear. And I shifted that of being actually one of my clients actually helped me a lot. I remember talking to her and I was like, yeah, I forgot exactly what we were talking about, but I was like, yeah, I physically said it to her. I was like, yeah, I'm just a cleaner. That's it. And she was like, "Excuse me? What did you just say?" And I was like, "Well, and she was like, "You're better than my therapist." And then it really clicked into place. I remember that day it clicked into place of being like, why am I like overperforming, overdoing these things to cover up this fear, this underlying fear of I'm not enough, when I am selling my true authenticity. Like I am selling my energy to people. And it just clicked into place. And so now I operate of I'm a fucking business owner. I no longer operate out of fear. I am clear on what I offer. I don't do everything for everyone. So in the beginning I was like I was pretty much doing deep clean. I was doing like above and beyond for like such a low price. It was insane. And now I am so intentional on what I provide for my company. And honestly, what did I say? I said I do less with intention. I provide like less than I did before and I get paid so much more because I am so intentional. And I'm very clear on what I do and don't do because before like I said, I'm doing everything for everyone. I'm like I will do anything for a penny. I am just begging for it. Oh god. And now I'm like, people will call me and be like, well, I pay this. I go, cool, well, I charge this. So it's like, no, this is what I offer. If you don't like it, go find somebody else. I feel so much more confident in my business and how it takes care of me and how I take care of other people. And the biggest thing is the clients change. Once I shifted my mindset and got rid of the fear, my clients changed. They are so, I mean, they are some of the most loving people I have ever met in my whole entire life. I eat dinner with my clients. I spend time with my clients outside of work. Like I love them and I have always treated my clients as family and now they treat me like I am their family and it is now reciprocal. I am I am attracting high quality clients. They are paying for my authentic personality. They're paying for my authenticity. They're just they see me. I've also have hired other people in within my company before and it's so funny. I will send them to them and they're like, "Well, no, we want you. We don't want them." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's amazing. I love that." It has made challenges, but anyways, that's a whole other side tangent. But I am now being paid to exist. I literally, every time I go into my clients' houses, I'm like, wow, I just get paid to exist in their home. And when I am operating out of that, and I am operating out of just, how would I describe it? Existence and my true authenticity, I can tell a big difference because even clients will comment like after I'm done. They're like, wow, I don't know what you did like different, but something's like feels really good in here. And I every time I go into work and I'm like in this positive mindset and I'm just in this big shift, I can see the difference in my work, but I also just clients will be like, I don't know what you did, but it feels great in here. So, yeah, I wanted to just share that of how shifting even my fear within my business has made quantum leaps in my income, in my like attracting people into my life, how I attract my clients into my life, just shifting that fear and operating out of my true authenticity has just exploded everything. So, what was the next thing? Yeah, my confidence. It's affected my confidence a lot. And it's not, am I good enough? Is this enough? Will they like me? That was a big thing in the beginning. And even when I was younger, it was a lot of like kind of just covering that fear up. And now, what I want to talk about too a little bit is like now what I truly provide in my business is my time, my energy, my presence. I create safety, I create comfort, calm, the energy that, like I said before, like the energy that I bring into their home matters, and they are paying for that. They are paying for my energy. And so, yeah, I now run my business with just so much more like just ease and just I go and I just feel so relaxed at work now. I'm just like, oh, this is great. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what authenticity is not. So authenticity is not reshaping yourself for acceptance. So before within my cleaning business, it's like I'm trying to like shift and like remold, like not even in my business, just with my life, how I was before. I would kind of like try to shape myself to people and I would try to shift and change or like dim down some of like my weirdness or my quirks or anything just so that they would accept me or that my personality would be more digestible. And yeah, so not changing your looks, your voice, your personality, making ourselves smaller to make like people comfortable. That is a big thing. So it's like reshaping yourself for acceptance and comfort and being like digestible. So we're gonna make ourselves really small. We're gonna be really small to make ourselves really comfortable for other people. I'm like, that is not being authentic. That is literally ripping your authenticity away from yourself for other people. People pleasing. That is pretty much what that is. People pleasing. So, authenticity is living. What did I say? I said authenticity is living without shame in your true essence. I want to say that one more time because that just like hit my heart. Authenticity is living without shame in your true essence. So we're like in our true essence and we're sharing it with people without the fear of how they will react or how their comfort is. So it's like just sitting in it instead of being like, okay, I'm in my essence, and then you see somebody and it's like, ah, you're like, oh God, this is me, but I don't know if they can handle that, so I'm gonna get small. I'm gonna close myself off, or to people please them and make sure they're comfortable. And are you able to digest my energy? Are you No, no, we're not doing that. I'm tired of that. I don't want to do that anymore. And a really big example I can think of in this instance is in like shaping or shifting your essence and your true oh my gosh, oh, and your true authenticity is I met a guy a couple months ago and I'm not kidding, I was so excited to meet him and like hang out with him, and I was just like over the moon about this guy, and I like got really in my head about it. And I saw so much value in him, and I saw his authenticity, and I was just like so magnetized to it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." But then I got scared. And I was like, "Oh, what if he doesn't like me? What if this? What if that? Blah blah blah." Blah. So I wasn't sharing like a lot of my quirky things or my authentic essence with him in fear that he would reject it. So like I love like witchy stuff. I love like I have an altar, I have my sage, I have all those things. And I was so I don't know what happened. I was so scared to like share that because I was like, "Oh, I don't think he's going to like that." And like I never even share it with him, so I don't even know if he would like it or not, but I literally didn't want to share really core things about myself and my quirky authenticness with him in fear of it being rejected. And that like weighs so heavy in my chest. And it like makes me so sad that I even did that. And that's not how we want to live, because that is not how we attract our people into our lives. That is not how we attract our friends or our partners or our clients. That is not how we attract what we truly want, is shifting our essence or shifting or reshaping or making sure people are comfortable or making sure we're digestible. And yeah, so I say that. So I shrank and I edited myself and I tried to be easier to handle because I have a really big personality. like I if you cannot tell, I love fucking yapping. I love just and I have a lot of energy, and I know like being around me can be a lot sometimes. And instead of like some with that guy, I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna make myself small so I can be." And I'm like, "No, if you can't handle it, that's your fucking problem." Like, why would I shift my beautiful energy that I've been fucking blessed with? Why would I shift my true essence to make myself digestible for you? Why would I do that? Because not that's not operating how I want to operate. That's operating out of fear of judgment and being eaten and dying and all of these things, and all the inner drama queen came out, and I don't want to live like that anymore. So yeah, that my relationship lesson, and to connect all of this that I just yapped about, is the deeper pattern, and it is the same fear of being seen. So it is in my podcast, it is in my business, and in my relationships. It is a big fear of being seen and being rejected in that way. And I think this is a very common thing, and that is why I wanted to share this with you, because if you are going through this, I don't want you to go through this because it hurts and it's scary and I don't like it either. So I wanted you to hear that from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, living with authenticity really means allowing yourself to be seen and without managing other people's comfort. I want to read that like one more time because that just like soothed my heart. Living with authenticity really means allowing yourself to be seen without managing what other people's comfort is. I don't think I read that this way. But anyways, yeah, so we're not managing other people's comfort. We're just not doing that anymore. And it feels really, really good to share my fear with you and to let it go. What is happening in your life today? Like, what is happening in this season of life of fear that is coming up and that is dampening your true authentic essence? I want you to think about that this week or this month. I want you to think about that and how are we going to shift it? I hope you use the paper tiger theory. I hope that you use the journaling of writing the things down and then shifting them into the positive and just sitting in your true authenticity. And honestly, like, why would we? My dog is moving. Why would we make ourselves more fucking digestible for other people? Why would we change our beautiful energy and our beautiful essence for other people just to fucking be digestible? So, my thing that I want to end on is fuck being digestible. Fuck that. We're not doing that anymore. We're done. We're over it. We're not doing that anymore. So, yeah, I think that is all I have for you. It feels so good to just share that with you. So yeah, what fear is coming up for you? Let's shift it. Let's fuck being digestible. Let's not shape ourselves into other people anymore. We are going to be in our true essence because that is how we freaking attract everything that is meant for us. So, oh, snap on it. So, yes, so I love you so freaking much. Oh, what is my flavor? What is my flavor today? I feel like it's a little heavy, but a little new. If you don't know, welcome to the flavored club ending. I don't know why I said it like that. Flavor club ending. Our flavor club. Welcome to our flavor club. There you go. So comment your flavor down below. And oh my god, my dog is distracting. So comment your flavor down below, and our flavor club is the comment section below, whatever platform you're on, or you can DM me on Instagram. I'll link it down below. Please connect. I want to connect with you. Send me a DM on what your flavor is. And I'm still trying to think about my flavor. What is my flavor? I think I said peppermint in a different one, but like peppermint chocolate. Like I thought of like a peppermint like chocolate like bark thing, like chocolate like peppermint chocolate bark. If that makes sense. I feel like a little cozy, a little bit like fresh at the same time. That's how I guess I described like chocolate bark. So that is my flavor for this chapter episode or whatever. Is just like peppermint chocolate bark. So, what is your flavor? How are you feeling? What are your fears? Please, if you don't have anyone to share it with and you want to shift your fears, we're shifting our fears this week. DM me your fears. What is going on? What are we shifting? All that goodness, all that good stuff. So, I think that's it. I think that's all I have for you. I hope this made sense. I hope this landed. I really, really hope it did. And yeah, that's it. Okay. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye. Mwah.